Most people choose their careers from the lower levels of consciousness, from fear, survival, scarcity, social conditioning, or the pursuit of external validation. But as consciousness expands, the forces that drive decisions change dramatically. This video provides a clear foundation for understanding how a person's professional path, motivations, and style of contribution transform as they move through the levels of awareness. It also serves as the conceptual anchor for the videos that follow in this series, which explore influence, creation, leadership, and wealth at higher states. To understand transcendent work, you must first understand how consciousness reshapes why we work. At the lower and mid-level states of consciousness, career choices are primarily shaped by financial fear, safety needs, familial expectations, social approval, the desire for status, the need to prove oneself, ego protection, and external definitions of success. Work is approached as a means to secure life, stabilize identity, and avoid insecurity. In these stages, fear drives ambition, comparison drives performance, scarcity drives effort, insecurity drives self-concept. The career is not an expression of self. It becomes the container used to feel adequate. This is the paradigm most of society operates within. But as consciousness expands, the motivations begin to dissolve. As awareness deepens, the individual starts to question, why am I doing this? Who am I becoming? Does this feel aligned? Is this mine or inherited? There is a natural pull toward personal meaning, creative authenticity, ethical alignment, work that reflects values, and a desire for fulfillment rather than applause. Work becomes less about fitting in and more about feeling true. Career choices become more intentional. Identity starts loosening, and the person begins to sense the possibility of a life where their work and their inner world are no longer separate. This is the beginning of the shift toward transcendent contribution. At the higher states of consciousness, courage, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, the individual seeks work that is meaningful, ethical, aligned with their inner truth, expansive, generative, and beneficial to others. Motivation shifts from personal gain to contribution. Work is no longer a place to get something. It becomes a place to give from what you are. Here, careers evolve into helping professions, creativity, innovation, teaching, healing, leadership, entrepreneurship, and spiritual or service-based expression. Purpose begins to emerge without force. The person chooses roles that feel like extensions of their authentic nature. Ambition becomes intention. Work becomes expression. At the transcendence levels, love, joy, peace, enlightenment, unity, career choices are no longer choices in the conventional sense. Work becomes a natural expression of inner truth, the overflow of presence, the transmission of awareness through form, the embodiment of a frequency, service to consciousness itself, the dissolving of boundaries between life and work. The person is no longer seeking a job, role, title, or identity. They are seeking coherence, contribution, resonance, impact that arises without ego, creation without pressure, leadership without authority, influence without strategy. The career dissolves. The being leads. This is where the transcendent creator, transcendent leader, transcendent guide, transcendent investor, and transcendent entrepreneur emerge. They don't work for something. They work from a state. Their presence determines their profession. Their frequency determines their contribution. Their clarity determines their impact. To summarize the evolution, work as survival, work as identity, work as meaning, work as service, work as frequency. This series begins where most end, at the point where work stops being external and becomes internal, energetic, and consciousness-driven. The remaining videos in this series explore transcendent influence, frequency-based leadership, presence-based creation, energetic communication, clean monetization, conscious wealth, aligned online expression, sovereign guidance. These can only be understood from the context of how consciousness evolves. This video establishes why people shift from conventional to transcendent ways of working, how motivations transform, what dissolves as awareness expands, where the transcendent path begins, and why the later videos in this series are relevant. Everything that follows is built on the idea that the internal state shapes the outer expression. That career is not merely a role but a reflection of consciousness. This video is the doorway. It explains how the reader arrived here. It prepares them for the deeper work of leading through frequency, influencing without ego, creating from presence, stewarding wealth ethically, guiding without imposing, embodying what they communicate, offering from alignment, living as their work. This video lays the foundation for the entire transcendence arc. And as you move into the videos that follow, these stages will no longer be explored as abstract ideas or philosophical concepts. They become lived transitions, shifts that reshape identity, dissolve old motivations, transform how influence arises, and reveal how contribution emerges from presence rather than pressure. Each subsequent video examines this evolution not as theory, but as the embodied journey of becoming, how work, purpose, leadership, wealth, and expression reorganize themselves as consciousness expands.